Hey guys, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com, bringing you another fly this week and sticking with our Steelhead theme to end the month. I'm giving you a Steelhead pattern with lively legs. I know a lot of you guys like to tie with lively legs. They have a cool new fly that they're bringing out this year. It's called the Double Trouble, and I really liked it. I liked how they tied it, and I thought I would put a little bit different twist on it for Steelhead season. I like to tie with purples and pinks and flashy colors for Steelhead. So I'm going to give you my twist on the Double Trouble, but this one's going to be Steelhead Double Trouble. So let's get into tying it here. You'll see it's pretty simple to tie. I mean, it's not hard. It's a little bit more intricate than maybe some, but you'll be able to do it. It's a lot of the techniques that I've used in my other videos. Like I always say, what I like to teach in my videos is technique over pattern. So all the techniques that I've showed you over time build up to tie these bigger, harder flies. So it's not going to be that hard if you've been following my videos and stuff like that. The new way I'm going to show you, one of the new things I'll show you, is how to tie antennas on a little bit differently than I have been in the past. And it's the way the lively legs guys tie theirs, and it's really neat and works great. So I'm going to use it in this video too and share it with you. You know, we carry lively legs in the shop, and the lively legs guys are good guys, so watch their channel if you haven't already. And let's get into tying it here. Okay, here you see the fly in the vise. Let's get into tying it. Real cool looking fly, lots of color, that's why it's a Steelhead pattern. And let's get into tying it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hook in the vise. The hook is a 7/18, size 8. You can definitely tie this one smaller. I just wanted to do a Steelhead pattern. The bead is a 3.8 millimeter tungsten bead in metallic pink. Next thing I'm going to do is put on some 0.020 lead wire. I'm going to put about 12 to 15 wraps on here. Oops, there we go. And then just going to pull that end off there and push it all the way in tight. Now I'm going to put some antennas on this. The antennas I'm using is some Sili legs, perfectly barred Sili legs in orange. Oh, and the thread we're using is Ultra Thread 140 Denier pink. So like I said, this is a Steelhead. I love pinks and purples for Steelhead. I've had lots of success with that. So that's why we're tying it in this color. Now what we're going to do is start our thread on there by the hook point. Then I'm going to take one of these Sili legs and I'm going to lay it up over the hook point at an angle. Okay, we're going to tie it down. Oops. So it goes down over there and out at that angle. I'm going to put this long enough that I can trim it down a hair whenever I want to cut it to length. And I'm only going to do 1 or 2 wraps there, and then I'm going to wrap in front of the bead. In front of this leg behind the eye. And the reason I do that is to go behind the other leg, and I'm going to crisscross. You see here, now I'm going behind this leg and on that side of the eye, 2 or 3 wraps. And what that does is that angles them out at the front there, which we want. Now we'll trim that off, and then we can take and finish this off here right in front of that bead, so we can move behind and keep tying. You don't want to put too much thread there or your bead won't slide up over, so keep caution of that. We're just going to push that bead and the lead up there, and you can see how they both angle out over the front of the hook where you want, with room to get your eye in there to tie your fly on. So now we're going to hop back to the back, and we're just going to lock this lead in place first. Alright, just get this locked down. And then I'm going to go back here to the back, and about a little bit past the barb on this hook. I like to make it nice and long so it all ends up Actually, I go almost back the whole way to the bend. But the reason I do that is because I want the proportions to be right on this fly. To get my proportions right for the abdomen and the thorax, I have to go back a little bit further. So I'm going around that bend a little bit. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, the remaining piece of my legs, I'm going to, fold them in half, pinch it down till I get the loop on the back here. And then I'm going to tie this loop down back here on the back. And I'm just going to wrap it forward to wrap it back to where I want my abdomen to start there. Oops, there you go. And then I'm just going to wrap it the rest of the way down. And just cover it all up there. Okay, and there you see, this part of the double trouble is double this, double the lead. So double the legs, double the movement. So now that we're back here at the back, the next thing I'm going to put on is a piece of Brassie gold wire. And this is going to be the rib on the fly. You do not have to add this, I will say that. I just like to add a little bit extra flash in there. Okay, then we're going to use some medium purple vinyl rib. And it's D-rib. So we're going to tie it on upside down with the flat side up. And place the flat side facing up here. And I'm going to put it right back to the edge of that lead there. You can see where I tied it in right at the edge of the lead. And then I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter so it gets thinner towards the back. And then I'm just going to wrap it down and get a nice good smooth coverage here. Oops. Careful you don't hit your hook or you can break your thread there. Okay, now I'm going to bring it right back up to the lead and we're going to wrap this up. So now, when you wrap it, if you put the flat side up, it should wrap with the round side facing up. So make sure you get that round side facing up, nice good tight wraps. And we're going to wrap it right up to that lead. Okay, once we get to the lead, we're going to tie it off. Alright, set that aside. Now I'm going to put my rib on it, and all I'm going to do to put the rib on it is I'm just going to follow the rib of the D-rib here. And I'm just going to put this gold in between. If you pull too tight, it'll drop down in between real deep there and you really won't see it. So you want it tight enough that it stays in the hole, but loose enough that it doesn't go down deep in the hole. And you can see there it gives it just a nice flashy rib. Alright, next thing we are going to do is I'm going to use some thin skin, and I'm just going to take and cut off, probably not even 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch wide here. Okay, this is the natural mottled oak, and it comes with a paper backing, so you got to peel that backing off. And then what I like to do here is I like to thin one side of it. So I'll just cut a triangle on the end here. And that allows me to tie down. Now, you can see here, there's a dull side and there's a flashy side to it. Okay, so I'm going to tie it with the flashy side down, dull side up. So the flashy side shows through here in a second. And we're just going to tie that down and run it right up to our ribbing. Okay, and then we're going to add some dubbing. For dubbing, SLF Prism, this is shrimp pink. And we're just going to dub some of this on here. And I'm going to give you a little tip here with dubbing, something I found at the Fly Tires reunion for the symposium at Seven Springs last year. They were handing out this, that it was labeled as midge wax, but what it is for office work. It's that pink stuff you rub your finger on that makes your finger moist to like sort bills and papers and stuff like that. It works awesome for putting dubbing on, to get dubbing tighter on your line, and you know, you don't have to stick your finger in your mouth to do it. So, like, I would suggest it for school fly tying clubs and stuff like that where you don't want to put your finger in your mouth, you know, and the next guy using tools, same tools, that kind of stuff. It's a great thing for that. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to dig into our lively legs. This is the shimmering purple and large. These are new. This is the new color from Lively Legs. So we're going to use that. And as you see, the lively legs are way too big for this fly, so we're only going to use 2 of them. The 2 that I prefer to use are the back 2 because they're a little bigger, so it's make it a little bit more proportionate for this fly. So I'm just going to cut off the front, and then I'm going to hold it on top, and I'm going to tie it down right behind the bead. Notice here I left a little tag. I'm going to tie that little tag down. I'm going to suck it right in behind that bead right there. And then I'm just going to come back, and in between each leg I'm going to make 1 or 2 little wraps just to tie it down on top. Okay, and then I'm going to trim this tag off here in the back. And there you can see I got my legs right on the top, right where I want them. So now I'm just going to come in with a little bit more dubbing. And I didn't put it on real heavy on the first one, I just covered it up. Now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to cover up my thread wraps where I tied my legs down. This is a really easy way to tie these legs on. I find it a lot easier to tie them on than the way I used to do them, which is tying them on first and then dubbing over them. So you can see there, you know, I covered up all my thread wraps and covered up on top a little bit. Now we're just going to pull our thin skin up over the top, center it right on top of those legs, okay? And then we're just going to cinch it down. I'm going to pull her down nice and tight and put it, oops. Yeah, I over tightened it. So I'm going to have to go back. Okay, no big deal when you do something like this. Alright, how I'm going to fix that is I'm just going to drop back here to the back. And we put all that work into it. Rather than cutting everything off, we're hiding everything, okay? So we're just going to tie this in again back here at the back. Alright, give me a little bit of dubbing as coverage. Very little. I don't want to overdo this fly. Okay, this is fishing for you. This isn't, you know, tying for a competition or something like that. You know, you're filling your box here. You don't want to waste a lot of time. So now we're going back up to the front. You see there, I got my everything covered back up. We saved it. We're just going to take and pull this up over again. We're not going to wrap as tight this time. You know, guys, how I like to tie things. If I make a mistake, once I tie that down, I'm going to pull it back. If I make a mistake, I like to correct it on film because we all make mistakes and they're fixable. It's not something to get worked up about. So we're just going to tie this off now right here behind the bead, and the pink thread makes a nice pink hot spot for your collar. So we'll tie this off. Oops. Don't trap your leg in there or your antenna. Make 1 more. Gotcha. And then we're going to trim off the legs. The way the lively legs guys like to do it, they like to take 5 little dots on here. I think anywhere close to that is good. So I'm not counting. I just know about how long I want, which is a little bit longer than I would think would be proportionate. And, you know, because you want action. That's the whole reason for this fly, is action of these legs and the antennas. There you go. It's not that hard to tie, but it's a cool looking fly. Okay, I hope you like this fly. It wasn't hard to tie like I showed you. It's a lot of the techniques that we've used in the past all built up to make it. And one of the things about this video I hope you caught was making a mistake is fine. You know, go back and fix your mistake. It's not a big deal. You don't have to start over or get all worked up about it. Go back as far as you need to fix that. For me, that was just adding a little bit of extra dubbing that I might not have added, but it's still not overpowering. It's still very, undersized and very proportionate. So just fix your mistakes, don't get worked up, and you'll have a fun time tying flies. So guys, I hope you like this video. We have the material list listed in the description under the video. And if you like it, please, if you want to tie it, all the material is available at our shop at holsingersflyshop.com. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my Steelhead series here, and I hope you're looking forward to my streamers, because I love tying streamers. So I'm going to be tying a couple streamers in a row next. Stay tuned, guys. I'll be back next week with another pattern. And until then, I'm Sean Holsinger.